first very important question for you.
Okay.
Are you excited for season 2 of House of the Dragon?
Yes, yes. I was gonna be interested if you're gonna ask me about that, but yeah. Um, yeah, it's gonna be tough. I heard rumors that it's gonna be like so far-fetched from the book. And I haven't really read the books. I just know the whole story basically, because obviously I was not patient enough to just wait for it. I literally just spoiled it for myself. But I might be able. I might gonna read the book soon, so it's gonna be really good. But it seems pretty nice, and I am excited for the next season. And hopefully, it's gonna be like really, really action packed and more dragons.
It's I've read the book. The book's an interesting read because it reads like a history textbook, but it's like
Yeah.
a history textbook within the world of Game of Thrones. So it's like
Yeah.
it's really cool. Sorry. I'm like trying to get as many of my friends as possible to watch the first season so that I have people to watch season
Yeah,
2
no,
with.
I rewatched first season for like 3 or 4 times now, and
Yeah.
I'm so hyped about it. And it was just such a good season, and I hope they don't gonna screw up this next season. And
It seems like
because
they've learned their lesson from Game of Thrones.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like obviously we know we're talking about Game of Thrones, and then the last thing we got from them besides this was season 8. So yeah.
Well, I've never seen another show go so down so quickly. Like,
Yeah, I know. I actually enjoyed like the power of Daenerys, but how they rushed everything is just
yeah. Like, on paper, I'm down with the idea of her, like, turning, like, going down this dark path and becoming, like, the
yeah,
villain of the series. But it's like,
yeah,
there needed to have been a bit more than what they set up for that. Because she went from in one episode being like, we're not going to hurt any innocent people, I won't have any innocent blood on my hands, to, I'm going to burn everyone.
exactly. It's just so rushed, but it's fun, and I still love Game of Thrones and the whole.
Oh yeah, the first like 4 or 5 seasons still make season 8 worth it.
I think until like 6 too, like maybe
Oh yeah, the end of
7 is
season 6 was really cool.
yeah, maybe 7 is like a little bit now it's going a worse way, but then season 8 just screwed up
I'm like the first time I
everything.
noticed like that I was like disappointed in something that happened in the show was when John and all those guys were up in the north
Mm.
and they like sent what did they sent like I think they sent someone or they sent like a bird or something down
Oh
to
yeah,
Daenerys, and then she was back up to them within like 5 minutes. And I'm like, wait a
yeah,
second,
that was
it took them
insane
so long to get there.
with the dragons. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just so like we had like a few episodes just to get there for them, and like
Yeah,
obviously she got dragons to fly with, but like it's just alone
dragon
like
was
this.
flying at like the speed of light.
And then like first few seasons they went from King's Landing to the north in like 3 or 4 episodes,
Yeah,
and then it's just like a half
the
episode.
world got smaller, and it got only like 4 or 5 locations instead of
Yeah,
like this big expansive place. I
yeah,
wish George R. R. Martin would just finish the book series too.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully we'll.
The Winds of Winter is going to be like 2,000 pages long at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I think the main reason he didn't really finish the books, he wanted to like test out his possible ways of ending this series, and then obviously he didn't. He's saying that he didn't like season 8, but I think that was one of his ways, somewhat, of finishing it, and then he wanted to see how the audience would react to that.
I
I
think
heard
people would
theory.
have reacted better even if like if the show needed like 10 seasons to fully be done. I feel like, and if people would have reacted better if they'd actually spent time cultivating that storyline, but like it seemed
Yeah.
like Benioff and Weiss just wanted to finish the show to go make their Star Wars movie, but then the Star Wars movie fell through.
No, obviously, yes. I think so too.
All right, man. Well, this is the Big Friendly Swim podcast. I'm the Big Friendly host, and today's guest is a Hungarian Olympian and NCAA champion for ASU, Zalan Sarkany. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you for having me. It's been a tough few weeks. Obviously, we are training right now and preparing for the next big races, which is Olympics and Europeans, soon enough Europeans too. So it's been tough, but I'm still here.
'Cause you're probably like in the height of training right now. Like before you start bringing it back down, like there's probably peak training levels right now, especially as a distance swimmer.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, obviously we are like doing 9Ks, 10Ks per session, which is pretty long for right now. As of I'm not training for open water anymore, but I'm still doing this type of stuffs, and it's just but this is what makes me go faster, I guess, and yeah. Then we're gonna bring it down soon enough. We're not tapering for Europeans, and then Olympics is the main goal to do great there, and hopefully I will.
Yeah, man. I'd love to see you succeed at the Olympics. What did it mean for you to like qualify for those Olympics, and like when did you know for sure that like you were going?
I think, obviously this was like a dream of mine for a long time. And making the Olympics is just something that, I always wanted, and I'm really grateful that I did. And but obviously I want to do better, and I want to qualify in other events too, like 400 free, 800 free, and 400 IM possibly. And there is the chance at Europeans for that to do that. And yeah, we'll see how we'll go, but um, I'm already happy that I'm gonna be able to swim there and race with those big guys. How who I was looking up to in the past. So yeah,
Especially right now in the mile, it's like the golden age of distance swimming on an international level at this point. There's like 8 of like the 13 fastest ever are competing at the same time. So, talk to me about your time at ASU and what it meant for you, because you were one of those people who was a critical part on that final day of setting up ASU winning the team title. So, what did it mean for you to be a part of that, and like, what were the emotions on the pool deck when you guys fully realized, like, okay, we got this, we're winning this team title?
yeah. Obviously, I think this tells you a lot. We did a tattoo afterwards with all the guys on the team. Almost all the guys on the team. Um, yeah, it was something I will never forget for sure. And I think, um, you know, that day when we won it, it was like just a dream come true for the whole team, and that I was able to contribute to it by swimming, by winning in the mile, and you know, cheering for them in the relays throughout the whole race, throughout the whole season, basically. Um, it was just I was just super grateful for them, and then super grateful for everybody who did something towards the movement to achieving this goal.
I had talked to Owen McDonald a few weeks ago, and he's one of those guys who I think kind of flies under the radar in how valuable he is to a team. Because everybody talks about, like, the first place finishers, like a Leon Marchand, or, like, for
Yeah,
Florida, like a Josh Liendo. But I feel like the guys like him don't get as much respect or as much appreciation as they deserve, because it is those people who get like second, third, fourth, or who qualify for those B finals and get those crucial like points that set up that team win. But I had a great conversation with him. But he was one of those guys who I think is really gonna do some great things in the next couple of years.
yeah, for sure. He's one of my really great friends. of the team, and obviously in the last couple of months and the first semester, we really bonded together. Yeah, he's just an amazing guy, and I think there are a lot of people, not just in our team, but like in the whole NCAA racing that just like him. No one expects them to be that good, and they can bring the best out of themselves at like meets, which are really important. And I think that's something really valuable that like all the teams needs to recognize. And yeah, he just showed what he's really capable of, and I think he's nowhere near his peak yet. So he's
And I
gonna
mean,
do
like,
some great.
I think people don't realize, like, he went 136 in the two back. Like, that puts
Yeah.
him, like, easily top five all time.
Oh, I
Like, it
know.
was it was just overshadowed by the top two guys were 135. But, like,
Exactly.
136 any other year would have had a shot of winning it.
Yeah, true, true. I think actually he's just holding it right now.
He knew, he sensed it.
He sensed it. But obviously, yeah, that's something really remarkable, and I think there are a few other guys on our team too who did stuff like that, where we expected them to do it, but nobody from the medias and everybody and like in the whole swimming nation, I guess, in NCAA expected them to do that stuff. And then that's how we really achieved this goal of ours, that by like having those type of swimmers too, not just the Leon Marchands, made us better or in overall. So
And I think that's something people are increasingly realizing is how important those guys on the team who maybe won't be the top performers on your team, but will be those crucial like second, third, fourth place points. Because I remember like last year, the reason Cal won the NCAA title was like the majority of the guys in their team were those crucial point getters. I think they had
yeah,
like two individual champions and like one relay, which typically isn't enough to set up a team title, but then they got like crucial points and everything else. And I think the reason it flipped the script this year was Arizona State had more guys who could do stuff like that.
exactly. The other thing is that I think all of our NCAA teammates who swam the previous year NCAA was there at this year's NCAA, and it was just showing us how much we improved as a team together in the last year. And obviously we had the freshmen like Eli Karun and the other guys too, which really contributed to our achievement. But it just shows how much of a great impact we had in that year, in the past year.
Were the coaches like, what were some of the conversations the coaches had with the team like throughout the meet to keep everyone focused and not just have tunnel vision and still focus on like the meet ahead and not like just the end when, especially when you guys knew that like mathematically you'd won the team title.
Yeah, I mean, obviously when statistically we won the title, we were like, okay, that's something. And obviously still want to do that last relay, that last few events that's gonna make us like look like we really just beat everybody in this meet, and like we were the best of the best right now. Uh, so we were still focused. Bob was like trying to calm us down. Like, okay, calm down. We still have a relay. We still have stuff to do. We haven't got NCAA championship yet. It's just something that we want to finish this right, not just being happy about it and then screw over the last events. And obviously we did that by that last relay was, I think that's gonna be go down go this is gonna go down as like one of the best relays in NCAA history.
That last relay was insane. I mean, like just the Leon Marchand leading off in a 40.2 kind of shattered my brain a little bit. Like that just kind of ruined. I was just like on the floor, like that just ruined me. Like,
I know, it was insane.
but just that last relay like cemented how much, especially not even just the past couple of years, but how much the 8 years of like hard work everybody on the team had put in, from like people who were there in 2016
Yeah.
to like people who are there now, like how that had all come together into not only a win for ASU, but I think I said it in my post like after ASU like officially won, it was a win for swimming as a whole. That a team that had been cut like 10 years ago wasn't even on anyone's radar, that they could come back and do something like this was a win for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, and also like just seeing that relay in person and then like what rewatching the videos, I feel like for a few times I still had goosebumps. It was just something that like,
Yeah.
you know, pretty insane. And then I think that was just like the top of the cake. Like that was something that nobody expected us for to do. Like because we literally just won NCAA's before that, and then like okay, like now the other team is gonna contribute to like their stuff, and then who's gonna be the second, third. So obviously stuff hasn't been decided yet. Then, but we just topped it off and then went over our expectations. So it was pretty good, and I look back to those times as like what I really appreciate is that definitely the how the team worked is like overall in together like together.
Yeah, it was like everybody came together and did their part, and it was just like it was one of those moments that I don't think anybody on the team is gonna forget for the rest of their life.
Sure. Yeah.
So walk me through like the NCAA's for you on like a personal level, like both through walk me through the mile, which was where you won your team title, and how the rest of your races go, and like did they go according to plan?
Yeah. No, they didn't. Yeah, well, I don't know really what, still to this day, I don't really know what happened, and we'll are still trying to figure out how to get better in the future. I guess, we had some couple of races at the beginning of the season, and I came back from Hungary after a whole semester basically delaying. Um, and then swam some good times there. And then, we had Pac-12s. We were hyped about it because it was our last Pac-12. And then it was really important, but we didn't really plan to taper for that. And I think nobody really did. Like, I was not gonna taper for it, and I don't think I did, but maybe like in the last couple of days, I got too much of like low yardage that it made me swim pretty good, but that's technically counting as a taper. And then, you know, out of that pool, we had to go in not even 3 weeks to NCAA, and that was a lot more important. Um, and with swimming like with the best time of the year, I was a little bit nervous how I'm gonna do after this great session of Pac-12s. And we had the 500, I had a 500, the 400 IM, and the mile eventually. And I already swam those events like in a long time too, like in this specific order. So I knew how it's gonna be built up. I know I went in that I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna show them everybody how I'm really built up and how I'm really gonna do this whole thing. And then I got a hit by life, I guess, by not even making a final in the 500, and I was just devastated. And I tried to like get up from that, then focus in the B final. My parents were there too, and I was like, damn, last year you guys weren't here, and I was doing all right for myself, but now I'm just like getting terrible. So I was a little bit nervous, and I still did the best out of the situation, what I was possible to do. But then, the B final didn't go as it was planned, and then I was just sad. And then for 400 I tried to like make up my mind and just be mentally stable and just do what we came here to do is basically I had a ninth as a seed, right? And I was going into the prelims, and I was like, okay, I gotta make the A final right now. I'm not kidding right now. I'm just gonna do it. And then I missed out by like, I don't know, like a tenth of a second um, of the B final. And I was just, I don't know why I'm here. I was so mad. I was so mad at myself. I wasn't really mad at my coaches, but I was just asking them and they didn't understand either. It was like, they were like, we don't know what's happening to you right now. Like, and that just didn't help the situation, I guess. Um, and I was just, okay, these are not really my events in the yard system. And I was like, let's just focus on what really came here for is by winning the mile and contributing to everything what I have done for the final phase of this season. And yeah, then I got a video from one of my friends from the team, Campbell, and he swam at University of Michigan for a while, and he had a friend who is actually a world champion right now in 400 free, and he was an NCAA champion in the mile in 2019 called Felix Obak, and
Pretty
he's just
legendary swimmer in his own right.
yeah, he's a really really good guy, just in general too, but he's a really good swimmer too, and I was just he sent me a video out of nowhere, like my teammate, and I was like, "What is this?" And it was like a 3 minute long video, and of him telling me a special message of basically just how he felt like swimming and how he did at that NCAA when he won the mile. And he basically had the same exact situation as I did. He was like number two seed or first seed in the 500 or whatever, and then in the 400 or the 200 free too, and then not making it any of those finals, not even near those finals. And it's just something that basically happened to me too. And then he was able to stand up from that situation and win the mile. And I was, surprised by the fact that he did it like that because I never heard that story before. I knew he won the mile before, but I didn't know how. And that was just so special to me. I was rewatching that video over and over and over again. I got that a day before my mile, and I was shaking from stress. I was devastated, and and then I got that video, and every time I watched it, I calmed down a little bit and a little bit over and over again. And I was just, I knew that was helping for sure. I meditated. I went to the nearest park, just go down, get some touch with the nature, just sit down in the grass and just, chill a little bit out. Because I know I was just overreacting for what I had done and what I should have been done. Uh, and I was nowhere near the mental capability what I'm usually at. And I don't know, maybe the stress came from the media too. I was a little bit stressed because I knew that there are like high expectations on me, and I'm still trying to handle that right now and in the future too. It's just something that I think everybody who is getting better and better eventually in this sport has to be capable of doing. And I think I'm doing pretty well on that right now. And the day after that, I was still stressed, and I was still like, okay, it's the day. I gotta improve. I gotta do my thing now. But I went to the prelims when basically the milers swam who didn't make the A cut, um, and they were just, you know, I think Jack Holand swam there and he won that prelim. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty good time, but I came here as a 23. I gotta do better than that. I gotta do my best in order to win this race. Or just, I just really, really wanted to win that race. And yeah, I just turned into myself, listened to music, calmed down a little bit, and then focused fully to that race. And then I got my mental state back, and it was so fun to just race. Obviously, my time didn't really go well, but I won the mile eventually, and that was really important for the team. Um, so I was happy, and it was just something I will never forget.
I think it's something that like people in the media don't think about enough. Like people will theorize like, "Oh, why is this swimmer having an off meet? Like did they not hit their taper? Did they taper too much for Pac-12s, yada yada yada?" And it's like sometimes you just get nervous. Like people are human and sometimes they get nervous and it affects how they swim. Like it's such a simple thing that people I think don't give enough attention that like all of these elite swimmers and all of these really talented swimmers are also human beings. Like even Michael Phelps had off swims because of nerves. Like it
Yeah.
happens to everyone.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's super normal. And I really didn't have this before, and I was surprised by the fact that I'm having this, like, I guess, mental state that I have never had before. And I was just, trying to solve this problem, solve each and every problem by just trying to calm myself down and believing in what I have done before in practices. Because, I swam really well in practices, and Bob was like, he never saw anybody in the mile, in like a miler, swim these type of practices at these times and these intervals. And I was just like, okay, well, then I gotta be good. And obviously, I was surprised that I was not at that meet, and we didn't really understand it, and that didn't really help that we didn't really understand this whole situation. But eventually, I turned that Max Verstappen mindset in, and then just think about, like, I'm literally the dragon or lion of this event, and I have to do whatever I'm capable of doing in order to win this meet. And we did, so I guess it was pretty good.
I remember making that post of like, I mean, you saw it like with like I think with like the three characters in Game of Thrones like holding up a drink. Because I was making all of those like Meet Mobile like posts, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
I was like, it would be funny if I did this. Like, you would find it funny if I did
No, it was really funny. Yeah. I was like, okay, that's fine.
that. And like Felix Albach sending you that video, I think it's like so awesome that he did that because I remember those NCAA's, and I remember a lot of the conversation being around, hey, this guy was supposed to final, if not win, in the 500 and 200. What happened? And then him coming back and he won that mile with like a vengeance. Like it was a huge swim when he won that mile. I
Exactly, exactly.
It kind of reminds me of like in the U.S. like a lot of the because you know how the U.S. is one like has a tradition of winning backstroke at least on the men's side pretty consistently over the past like 20 years. Um,
I hope not anymore. Hope Huberto is gonna make something special this
he's
Olympics.
I'm excited to see what he does, man. Like I want to see someone go 152 again. Like it's been so long. That world record's so far out there, and like I love Aaron Pearsall and I love that world record, but they exist to be broken. And I want to see
Exactly.
somebody go 152 or 151 again. It's because
Yeah,
it's been like I think Relov has gone 152 at some point. I don't remember. No, he's been 153.3. So nobody's been a 152 since like Ryan Lochte. So it's
that's
been a long time coming, but I think he's one of those guys who can get up there and do it.
no, for sure. And I think what you just said, yeah, like, records are meant to be broken. Like, they definitely are there to be broken. And there are people this year, which, a lot of good quality swimmers who are able to do this stuff. And hopefully I'm gonna be, if not even world championship records, but like, or world records, but I'm gonna be one of them who's gonna break stuff like that in the future. So yeah, I think that's something I'm really excited to see too.
Yeah, I like especially for Hungary, like I think people kind of sleep on Hungary as like a really talented swimming nation.
Yeah,
Like I think
for
of
sure.
Laszlo Che was like one of my favorite swimmers as a kid. And I'm like, that guy had like the unfortunate luck of swimming at the same time as Phelps and
Yes,
Lochte. But I think at the same time,
exactly.
like the three of them would all, if you ask them, they'd all say they were better because of the other person. Like I
Yeah,
think they
true.
definitely pushed each other.
No, they did, and I think Laszlo was like could have been a menace. Like he would have been the biggest swimmer ever if Michael Phelps wouldn't have been
Yeah,
existing.
he still
So it
had
was
like a
just,
few world championship titles to his name, and like,
oh, I know, but it's not the same. Like
yeah,
he was swimming crazy times, but Phelps was better, and it was just,
yeah.
something that he I think he already accepted that thing like a while ago, but it just, something that all the swimmers in this nation are like, damn, that would have been really great if he would be able to like swim all those medals and win all those medals. So
In 2016, it was really unfortunate. In 2016, his best time that year would have won him Olympic gold because he went
yeah,
152.9 at Europeans, and then I think he said in an interview that like he went out too hard in the Olympic final and like paid the price for it.
yeah, exactly. Uh, yeah, that was tough. I remember
But
watching it. It was just, that was 8 years ago. So
but people I think also don't appreciate his longevity. Like at least outside of Hungary, people don't appreciate his longevity as much as they should because he made five straight Olympic finals.
yeah,
Like that's
that's
a that's a huge accomplishment. I think they were different events, but that's even more of an accomplishment.
yeah, yeah. He was one of the greatest in our sport and in our nation too. So yeah, all heads down for him. Right.
Yeah. So if my math is right, you've taken down the Arizona State mile record by about 30 seconds because I believe it was 14:57 before you started your onslaught of it. What are some of the sets and some of the training that you credit to having that level of success in that event?
Obviously, the longer stuff, what we do for stamina and those workouts, which like in long course too, but in yards too, we do for being able to hold our best times throughout a mile. Uh, Specifically, I have a really bad memory, so I don't really remember all those sets we done, but there are some things which are like threshold sets, which were insane at their times, and I was like, I don't know how I was able to do those, but as of right now, obviously I'm doing better and I'm improving it by day and day. Um, so that's for sure. I think believing in what we have done in the past with ASU and with the trainings I have done, and also what Bob told me to do, and I did. I think just believing in those stuff made me drop those really big times from that record. Um, yeah, for sure. Obviously, that didn't really, that was not a disadvantage that I went back home for the last semester um, to Hungary and train there with my teammates who I'm right now training with because I'm here at Turkey in Gloria right now in a training camp. It's an Olympic training center in Europe. Um, I was training with David Bethlehem and Rashowski Christoph, and we did our usual Hungarian longer training stuff, which is like 9 to 10 Ks. A lot, but I think that made me a really good swimmer, and just experiencing that racing with each other in every training we have done so far, that just pushed me to something that made me drop these times. I don't really want to give out the secrets we do at trainings, and it's just something that I don't know if I should tell you because that's on the coaches, but um, when we suited up for like sessions too, um, I was swimming with Leon a lot of times because he was preparing for 500. But usually I did like suit up sessions for like longer stuff, so broken mile and stuff like that. And just racing with my teammates with the time and with myself, um, made me a better swimmer. And I think that eventually that made me drop those times.
Yeah, that 500 that he did. Speaking of crazy training, that 500 that was a. I mean, I remember like a week before that, Zane Grothy, who was he was either the American record or the U.S. Open record holder for a time in the 500, was like he's going 402, and everybody was like, "Dude, you're crazy." And then he goes 402, and I'm like,
Yeah, he was
"Oh."
insane. I was like so sad to see it from the side and not swimming that race with him. Because, doing all those sets for 500 together and racing with each other, um, I think I was like 2 seconds or 3 seconds behind him overall, like adding those times up, like when we literally swim like, 5 100s or stuff like that. Um, and seeing that he beat me by like 10 seconds, I think I see the whole I was like, you know, I'm not where I wanted to be time wise, but things happen, things like that happen, and failure is just something that we can learn from, and I think that's really important for all the athletes, all swimmers to accept that thing that if fate has to do something with this whole thing, you gotta accept that if you're not swimming well, you can learn from that thing and you can keep moving forward.
Oh, I think even like the most successful swimmers, like a Marchand or a Phelps or a Ledecky or any like swimmer who's had a lot of success on an international level, would tell you that. Would be
Yeah,
you're gonna fail, you're gonna have bad swims, and you're gonna learn from them, and you're gonna be able to come back from them.
true, 100%. And I had ups and downs too while I was like, not doing college swimming too. Uh, some stuff which were unexpected, like breaking my arm and then not making the national team, um, missing out from big important meets, and then other stuff where I was just swimming so slowly and not making any finals, even in Hungary, and those stuff I think made me say like, okay, then I'm gonna make you guys just watch me in a few months, in a few days, in a few weeks, see me how I'm gonna do and how better I'm gonna be in swimming by just training and putting all my mentality in towards to one thing is what is winning. So yeah, I think failure is definitely one thing that's your friend, and you don't you can be hating on them.
I think it's like a Kung Fu Panda quote, maybe, that was like, "Failure is like the greatest." I don't remember what movie it's from. It
Yeah,
seems like it's a Kung Fu Panda quote, but it's
I
a really
usually
good
watch.
one.
Yeah, you know what's really crazy? Like, I think all the guys from our team can approve this. Before our threshold sets or suit-up session, I usually watch like Kung Fu Panda edits or like other series edits, and then like that famous quotes from these movies. I'm just like repeating them in the toilet by like I'm just preparing myself to the mood of racing, and they're like all like watching it with me or just laughing at me, and then I'm just like, oh, then watch me in this next threshold set, and you're just gonna see what I'm gonna do right now. So yeah, it's just it's something you gotta do.
Have you seen the movie Interstellar?
I literally got a tattoo.
I love that movie so much. I
I
bef-
know.
Before my last mile for my college team, I was walking around the pool deck with my headphones on, blasting the music
Yeah.
from like the docking scene.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's called Cornfield.
No, that's
Cornfield.
like the main theme. It's like
Yeah, I know
it's the No
the
Time for Caution
yeah,
one it was blasting.
I love
Like
it.
that just reminded me of that, of like my teammate came up to me and was like, "What are you listening to? Like, you look so serious right now." And I showed him my phone, and he just started laughing.
No, yeah, that's insane. And I literally have the tattoo of a Morse code, when he like basically Morse coding this
Yeah.
spade Murphy, and
I
it's like
love that movie so much.
love it
Like,
so much too. I'm actually watching those edits too, but usually I'm just like watching Targaryen or like Max Verstappen or basically Cars and movies like that, edits from TikTok, and hyping myself up to the next
yeah.
big.
Oh yeah, I mean like people will laugh, but it's like whatever works for you and whatever is getting you fired up and ready to go. Doesn't matter what
Exactly.
it is as long as it's working.
True, 100%.
Out of curiosity, what's like your favorite like theme from Game of Thrones? Because I'll use that in when I'm posting about it. I'll use that in the
Oh,
posts.
I don't know. I don't know. I love. Wait, let me check it because I don't know the exact one. Let me check it because I have the yeah. So I love the Light of the Seven.
Oh, that one's so good.
Because that episode had like such a momentum on me, and I was like
Yeah,
not recovered because like we lost a lot of characters, like main characters and side characters, in the glimpse of an eye, and I was like,
yeah.
what just happened? And Cersei just like sipping on a wine and just like looking
I
down
love that it
menacingly.
was such minimal dialogue for like 20 minutes too. It
Yes, and
was
just
like
the music
like
blasting
10
to your
words
ears.
total.
Yes, I love it, and I think the other one is definitely the when Daenerys goes over the sea and the dragons fly. Like I think that's the end
Hmm.
of the six.
Yeah, I think
Basically,
so.
the theme of the Targaryen. I think that's the real name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of that's more like me, I guess. But that song is just it's like I think it's 7 minutes long, and I'm just listening to it over and over again. Like I should calm myself down. I usually listen to it, but it's just I'm imagining the scenes from that scene. I'm like, oh, damn, that was so good.
I I feel like Game of Thrones, it while it like decreased in quality on like a writing level, the music stayed amazing right up till the end. Like that composer Ramin Djawadi, I sing his praises so
No, for
much.
sure, for sure. Yes, I love him. I think music has a really good impact, like on stuff what movies does. Like it makes you think about that exact momentum in that
Hmm.
movie, like a really good theme, or just like a music that reminds you of that scene.
I still think about the scene in House of the Dragon, which is if anybody's
Yeah.
watching, this is spoilers for House of the Dragon, where Viserys comes into the throne room and like he's like
Mm.
crippled and like barely can
Oh yeah,
walk,
yeah.
and like
King
I my
James
jaw
there.
was on the floor at that
Yeah.
scene. I'm
No,
like,
that
how did
was
they make an old man who's dying walking through a throne room be this cool?
no, it was so menacing, and also like then Damon like slicing the head.
Hmm. That
Well,
part where he picks up Viserys's crown was apparently just like it was
improvised.
yeah, it was
Was improvised.
improvised.
Yeah. That's Matt Smith is just legend. I think he's just a really good actor.
Like I like loved him in Doctor Who, but like now it's like my brain associates him with House of the Dragon with
Yeah,
how
yeah, yeah,
good he
yeah.
was in that role.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
So my last question for you oh wait, actually, have you seen Westworld? Sorry.
No, I did not. I'm sorry. That's something I really gotta get back on because like right now I'm watching Snowfall, but
Hmm.
I got series that I haven't watched at all, and all my friends are telling me to, and Westworld is definitely one of the things. So
I'm not sure
I
how streaming is in Turkey or Hungary, but at least in the US, HBO Max took off Westworld. Like they canceled it and then they removed it from their streaming service
really
for like tax cuts. So I'm not sure how it is in other countries, but you
I've
might
been
have
able
to
to
go
see.
through totally legal means to watch it.
Yeah, I've been able to see it somehow. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I heard it's a really good show, and also one of the other shows I haven't watched is definitely the wait what? What was the name of it? Well, I watched The Last of Us. Oh yeah, The Walking Dead. I gotta watch The Walking Dead too. I heard really good things about that too. And one of the main things I haven't watched, and I'm not too proud of it, I haven't watched Breaking Bad.
No! Have you seen Better Call Saul?
No, I haven't started that universe yet, and I'm really into it because they be all my friends be coding it, and I'm like, yeah.
You're like,
I
yeah,
mean,
I know what you're saying.
I saw a lot of scenes from TikTok from the series, and I know a lot of stuff from it, how it's gonna, well, not really how it's gonna end up, but like a few scenes, and then I'm like super hyped about it, and I really gotta watch that thing too.
That's gonna be a fun ride because that's like 11 seasons
Really
in a
long. Yeah,
movie.
that's exactly why I haven't started it yet because I just didn't find the time to do it. But it's summer now, and I really don't have anything else just besides swimming.
Yeah.
I guess I have the time.
You gotta keep me posted of like what you think of like big major events in the series.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
So my last question for you, this is always a fun one that I save for the end, is just what are some of your favorite memories, both competing for Hungary but also for Arizona State? And I'm willing to guess at least one of those is winning that team title.
For sure. That's 100%. That's something I think I'm gonna tell my children when I'm gonna be old. Like my, my granddaughter or grandsons. It's just something that, I think everybody on the team gonna remember until they die. The other things is definitely I hope hopefully the new thing is gonna be making the Olympics and then swimming at Olympics because that's just such a good thing to say that you're an Olympian.
Yeah.
Uh, that's one of the things, and I think winning my first national title too, because I majorly have been overshadowed by other swimmers in the past, and right now I think I'm like you know trying to get up there and achieving my goals to be like one of them, if not the best of them. um and that was one of the earliest things that happened to me by winning the national title in the mile. You know to start this path of mine, and I was just super glad at that time. I have my friend retiring in the last meet of the year, actually last year, and I think that was just super sad. Everybody were like announcing it like mid race, and they were like the commentators and everybody were like, yeah, and Akos Kalmar is finishing it up, and it was just everybody were crying, and it was just so emotional. That's gonna stay in my mind for sure. Um, Yeah, that's for sure one of the things. And my first ever dual meet and Pac-12 meet. Yeah, like the energy, the flow, everything. It was just like super hype,
Yeah.
super new to me. It was just a new experience because, I think swimming is definitely an individual sport and it's not a team sport. And I was like thinking that while I got to America first semester, and then I just got to my first dual meet, and everybody were like cheering for me, like on the side while I was swimming. Not just few people, my friends or anybody, but like everybody yeah, on the team. And I was like, whoa, that's just super generous feeling and a super great feeling. And I was like surprised by the fact. And then we went to the meet of the first Pac-12 we had together, and I was like the whole energy, the whole vibe, the atmosphere was just like, oh my God, that was just so insane watching the relays win in that meet. And I couldn't wait to swim the mile there. And I was just super hyped about it.
I think it's something that college swimming uniquely creates is and like my I was at like a senior event for my brother. He's a senior in high school yesterday. And I think my dad said it very well. He's like never been a swimmer. Like he just takes us to the meets. He doesn't like know the sport very well. But he said, like, I used to think swimming was an individual sport, and on many levels it is,
It
but
is,
it
yeah.
is still a sport where you have this team around you, and it has the most important aspects of being on a team. Because you're spending, like, at dual meets, you're spending, like, hours sitting with these people and talking with them and bonding with them,
Yeah.
and those are the memories you end up remembering the most.
No, true, 100%. And I think, just cheering for them and screaming like devils or the devil, really, like
Yeah.
it's something that like I don't think I ever had that type of energy in me just for cheering. Obviously, I had that before when I was, preparing myself for the race, but not for cheering. And that was just something I will never forget.
I remember, like, I live in California, so, like, right next to Arizona, but I live, like, in, like, the Bay Area, like, up in central California. And we have state championships for junior colleges, and I got to go and I got to watch, like, one of my best friends win the 500 free at state championships, and you have a
Yeah.
pretty, like, damn good time. And I remember cheering so loud that my voice gave out in the middle of me yelling. My voice just went. Nothing was there.
I had the same situation. It's just my voice was gone after like the first 2 days, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna swim the mile now. I'm like, okay, let's just do that. And it's just a whole new experience, and I really enjoyed my last year with them, and hopefully, you know, in the next years, I'll be able to experience this feeling a lot more.
And this is a question that I totally forgot to ask you because I got excited talking about Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
which is never. I'm never gonna be like. I'm never gonna be not excited to talk about Game of Thrones. But
Who wouldn't?
and this is one that with any goals or any future related questions, I always try to preface it for people and like only share what you want to and what you're comfortable with because I understand how important those goals are.
I know what you're gonna ask.
What's next for you after the Olympics this summer?
Yeah, for Olympics, it's definitely I just gonna meet the A cut in other events, and if I will be able to do that, I'm just gonna be happy about it. But obviously, on the other side, if I won't, it's fine too because I already made it once in one event, and then I'm already gonna be able to swim at Olympics, and I'm just super happy about that. It's my first Olympics, and it's just something that I'm just gonna race happily and just do the best as I can. And hopefully, I'm gonna be able to swim besides the 1500 in the 400 free, and I am in the 800 free. And after that, summer is done. I'm gonna rest a little bit at home, hang out with my friends, maybe party a little bit. But after that, my future is still unclear. We'll see how. Hopefully, I'm gonna be able to make a decision in the next couple of weeks, or the maybe few days too, if it goes rapidly. Um, it's just something I don't really want to rush because we're talking about the rest of my college eligibility and the rest of my student athlete career. Being a freshman in swimmer and a sophomore in school doesn't really help. Uh, or wait, let's switch it up. Whatever. It just doesn't really help that I had to delay a semester, but it's perfectly fine, and I got options, which is really good. This team was definitely one of my favorite teams ever, and we'll see how this whole thing gonna go down. But I never forget them. That's for sure.
I think that's a really mature way of like thinking about it, like that you've got the goals and you've got the stuff ahead of you right now, and there's no need to rush anything until you know for sure what you want to do.
True. Yes. I'm trying to make this decision as clear as it can be. Um, you know, it's just I don't want to be influenced by anyone. I just trying to do this as alone as possible. Obviously, I have all my family members, um, you know, talking to me and saying what they think, because I need other like perspectives in this situation, and it's good to have those type of stuff too. But it's just a big decision, and right now I'm focusing on swimming and training for the Olympics as hard as I can, um, and having this mental stability uh, going on, and not just getting screwed over by all these stuff that is going on with my life right now.
I remember like my first year of college, I was iffy on if I even wanted to join the team. Because the way swimming works for junior colleges, for community colleges, is you get 2 years of eligibility, and it's after community colleges, after 2 years you transfer to a 4-year university for the rest of your like college.
Right.
Um, and I was iffy on if I even wanted to join the team, and my mom was like, "Go for one day." Like she was the only person that I would let talk to me about it, because like my friends and like other people were trying to talk to me about it, and she was the only person whose advice I'd follow. And
Yeah.
she was like, "Just go for one day, and if you don't like it, don't do it." I'm
True.
like,
True.
"Okay." I go for that one day, and my good friend who I thought had gone to college out of state had
Mhm.
actually come back and was swimming with the team that semester. And as soon as I
Oh,
saw him walk on the pool deck, I'm like,
I was
"All right,
like,
yeah, I'm
yeah,
doing this." And
anyway,
I
yeah, that's crazy.
I ended up like getting 2 extra years on the team than I expected, because our first year got cut due to COVID. So like halfway
Yeah.
through our season, it ended up being cut. And then our second year, we got to compete as often as we wanted with whoever we wanted, but it
Mhm.
wouldn't count towards any of our eligibility.
Yeah.
And then my third and fourth years ended up being my quote unquote first and second years of eligibility. So
Mhm.
it was that, like, I just like am so grateful that I took the time for that decision and like let myself think about it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I never would have lost 2 miles in a row by 19 100ths of a second. I lost 2 miles, two incredibly close races by a combined 19 100ths of a second. My third and fourth years.
I mean, it happens. Like everybody has those things. But
Yeah, I dropped like a minute and
I
40
mean, that's
seconds between those
unfortunate,
two
but
races. Like I
yeah,
dropped a
that's
monumental amount of time, but it was like
that's really unfortunate. Yes.
it was one of those things that I look back on and laugh though. Zalan, thank you so much for sitting down with me. This will get posted. The wonderful problem that I'm having right now is if I were to post every interview that I have, like I've been doing like weekly, I would
Yeah.
be through to the beginning of August.
Oh, dang.
But I think for this will probably get posted like early to middle of June, like at least before U.S. Olympic trials.
Great. Yeah, sounds really good, and I really appreciate you for that. And yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
It
thanks
was a
for being
pleasure to
on,
talk
man.
about. It was a pleasure to talk about geek stuff.
Yeah, it's
Also,
always so much fun in interviews getting to talk about stuff like that.
yeah. Also, I wanted to mention that I really like your shirt. I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, thanks. I got it
Uh,
on Amazon.
but that's really nice, and yeah, just thanks for having me. And it's important to have these talks once in a while too, because I guess life sometimes goes around and don't have the time to do this stuff, and then it's nice to have some chat sometimes when you have
Yeah.
free time. Yeah.
Oh, I always try to make sure, like, I want to be asking people good questions, and I want to be asking people, like, my goal is always to ask somebody at least something that makes them think or is not something that they're typically asked about. But I also want to make sure they're having fun and having a good time. Like, it's called the Big Friendly Swim Podcast. It's got to be a
Yeah.
fun time here.
True. True. 100%.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me. Let me
Thank
know
you.
if you want to watch any of House of the Dragon season 2.
Okay. Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'll be in the move though, but it's just hopefully we can discuss how it's
Yeah.
gonna.
I'm so excited. Like,
Yeah, me too. It's just something that I've been waiting for so long, and I remember like I think I rewatched it the last time when I was going to back to ASU, so it was in December, and I was just like, it's gotta come out. Come on, it's gotta come out. Season two, it just
yeah.
cannot come out so
It's
fast,
only
you
going to
know.
be 8 episodes, apparently, is what they said,
I heard. I mean,
which I'm
I think
fine
it's
with.
fine. No, I'm fine with it. If they don't go really fast and then having the time for all the season, don't rush
Yeah.
it. It's gonna be perfect.
It seems like, from what I've read online, it seems like just this portion of the story is a bit shorter, so it doesn't
Yeah,
need the full 10 episodes.
it's shorter but more impactful,
Yeah.
so it's gonna be interesting.
I love that Game of Thrones inadvertently ruined the ending of, if I had to guess, probably like this season or the third season. But I love that Game of Thrones, in a throwaway line, told everybody how it was gonna end.
Yeah, I know. I think yeah, Joffrey said that. Yeah, when it was like
Yeah, it's literally like
not,
one
not
cutaway scene that's
eaten
like
by her
5 seconds.
dragon, or and by her son budged her
Yeah,
dragon. But yeah, it was just so. I mean, of course, but we had the books as well, so everybody who read the books for it knows the ending.
yeah,
So, but yeah, that's insane. But I saw some great edits, of that scenery and then connecting it with
yeah.
Renee. So yeah, that's great.
It's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you, and
Yeah,
have
I'll
a
let you
rest
get
of
to bed, man. It's like 9 o'clock for you, huh?
it is. But right now I'm watching the Planet of the Apes, and then I'm going to try to go to bed, and then I have like 4 trainings left here, and then flying back to Hungary. So
Nice, man. Well, good luck. I'm wishing you the best this summer.
you really appreciate that, and have a great rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you.